Detroit Lions are facing a decision that could completely change the course of the team and the future of one of their most talented yet controversial players. Jameson Williams. His fifth-year option is on the table, and the franchise is until May 2nd to decide whether to continue investing in him or move in another direction. What once seemed like a perfect marriage between team and player has turned into a dilemma filled with doubts, uncertainties, and controversies. On one hand, there are flashes of brilliance on the field. On the other, a history of off-field issues and problems that put his stay in Detroit at risk. When the Lions selected Jameson Williams as the 12th overall pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, there was immense excitement about what he could bring to the team's offense. His performance in college football, especially during his time at Alabama, showcased an explosive player with incredible speed and the ability to turn any play into a touchdown. He was seen as a perfect complement to Jared Goff and a potential nightmare for opposing defenses. However, his professional trajectory has not been linear, and his time in Detroit has been marked by ups and downs, leaving fans and executives questioning his long-term contribution. The first major setback in Williams' career came before he even made his debut. During his final college season, he suffered a severe ACL injury, which delayed his adaptation to professional football. When he finally took the field for the Lions, his appearances were limited, and his initial impact did not meet expectations. Fans' patience was tested, but there was still hope that he could explode in the following season. However, what came next was more off-field trouble than standout performances on the field. In 2023, Williams was suspended for violating the NFL gambling policy, a scandal that caught everyone by surprise and raised questions about his maturity and commitment. Although the suspension was not particularly long, the incident tarnished his reputation and made many doubt whether he had the discipline necessary to become a star in the league. Then, in 2024, another issue arose: a suspension for violating the league's performance-enhancing drugs PED policy. This added another layer of uncertainty to his career and increased frustration among fans, who saw a talented player seemingly squandering his potential due to questionable decisions off the field. And the problems didn't stop there. At the end of 2024, Williams was involved in a police incident during a traffic stop, where an unregistered firearm was found in his car. Although he was not formally charged and did not receive any league penalties, the incident further reinforced his image as a problematic player. As the Lions front office evaluates whether investing over $15 million in a fifth-year contract for him is worthwhile, all these factors weigh against his continued presence in Detroit. But what about his on-field performance? Has Williams demonstrated enough to justify the franchise taking a gamble on him? In his latest season, he finally had a productive year, recording 58 receptions, 1,001 yards, and 7 touchdowns, along with some contributions in the running game. His numbers showed growth and reinforced the potential the team saw in him during the draft. He became a constant deep threat and proved that he could be a playmaker capable of changing games with a single play. However, the question the front office must answer is, are these flashes of brilliance enough to outweigh the off-field concerns and financial costs? If the Lions choose not to exercise his fifth-year option, Williams will become one of the most sought-after players on the market. Some teams may see him as a golden opportunity to acquire elite talent at a reasonable price. The Carolina Panthers, for example, have a significant need for wide receivers and might be willing to take a chance on a player who, despite his issues, has a sky-high ceiling. The New England Patriots, who are in desperate need of offensive reinforcements, could also enter the bidding. Even well-structured teams like the Kansas City Chiefs might consider adding Williams to their roster to further enhance their already explosive passing game. For Williams himself, a change of scenery could be beneficial, giving him a fresh start to rewrite his NFL story. One of the biggest factors influencing the Lions' decision is the financial commitment tied to Williams' fifth-year option. If exercised, the team would be locking in over $15 million for a player who has yet to prove he can be consistently reliable, both on and off the field. This is a significant amount of cap space that could otherwise be allocated to strengthening other areas of the roster. Detroit has key decisions to make regarding contract extensions for players like Amon-Ra St. Brown and Penei Sewell, both of whom are far more proven assets. Committing to Williams means potentially limiting flexibility in future negotiations. Despite his issues, Williams still possesses a rare skill set that is difficult to replace. His speed alone forces defenses to adjust, creating more opportunities for other players on the field. Even when he isn't the primary target, his presence stretches defenses, opening lanes for Detroit's running game and creating space for other receivers. Players with his combination of athleticism and playmaking ability don't come around often, and if the Lions let him go, they may struggle to find a comparable talent. Another consideration for the Lions is their long-term vision for the franchise. Detroit has been building a competitive roster under head coach Dan Campbell, with an emphasis on discipline, culture, and accountability. The front office has shown a willingness to part ways with players who don't align with their values, prioritizing team chemistry over raw talent. Does Williams fit within that culture? Has he demonstrated enough growth and responsibility to convince the organization that he won't be a liability moving forward? The Lions also need to evaluate their depth at wide receiver. Before making a decision, Amon-Ra St. Brown has solidified himself as the team's top target, but beyond him, Detroit lacks a true number 2 receiver with Williams' game-changing ability. While the Lions could look to the draft or free agency to fill that gap, replacing Williams' explosiveness won't be easy. If they choose to move on from him, they must have a clear plan to ensure the offense doesn't take a step backward. From a coaching perspective, the question is whether Williams' skill set aligns with offensive coordinator Ben Johnson's long-term vision. While Williams' speed is an asset, his route running and reliability have been inconsistent. The Lions' offense thrives on precision and execution, and if the coaching staff isn't convinced that Williams can deliver at a high level consistently, it may be in their best interest to part ways and find a more dependable option. Another wrinkle in this situation is Williams' trade value. If the Lions decide against picking up his option, they could explore trade possibilities before letting him walk for nothing. There are always teams willing to take a chance on high upside talent, and Detroit might be able to recoup valuable draft capital or a depth piece in return. This route would allow them to move forward without the financial risk, while still getting something in exchange for their former first-round pick. However, there is also a strong argument for the Lions to keep Williams. The team's offense has shown improvement, and losing a dynamic receiver like him could be a setback to their development. Jared Goff has finally found a solid rhythm as the Lions' quarterback, and removing a piece like Williams could disrupt that chemistry. Moreover, if the Lions let him go and he thrives elsewhere, the decision will be heavily criticized by both fans and the media. The dilemma is real. Trust that he has finally matured and can become a central piece of the team, or cut ties now before more problems arise. The decision must be made by May 2nd, and time is running out. This could be one of the toughest choices the Lions front office has faced in recent years. What will be Jameson Williams' fate? Will he continue wearing the Lions jersey, or is he already packing his bags for a new team? The coming days will be crucial in determining the player's future and the impact of this decision on the franchise. Leave your comment and let us know what you think. Should the Lions keep Jameson Williams, or is it time to move on? If you want to stay updated on this story and everything about the Detroit Lions, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications.